All right, let's talk about something that's a huge deal in the world of DIY electronics. Size. I mean, it really, really matters. Today, we're going to look at this tiny little board that honestly doesn't just punch above its weight. It might just be the greatest of all time. So let's dive in and see why the Arduino Nano gets to be called the GOAT. Okay, so picture this. You've been at your workbench for hours, right? The code is perfect, the logic is flawless, your circuit is doing exactly what you want it to do. It's amazing. But then you hit that wall, that moment we've all had. How in the world are you supposed to take this brilliant but kind of sprawling mess of wires and components and actually squeeze it into a real-world project? And you know, that exact question, it leads us straight to the most popular board for anyone starting out, the Arduino Uno. And, well, what I think is its one big, glaring problem. Now, don't get me wrong, let's be super clear here. The Uno is an absolute champion for learning. It's tough, it's easy to use, it's perfect for just getting your ideas off the ground. But its size is kind of its Achilles heel. When you're ready to build something that's, permanent and compact, the Uno often just, well, it doesn't fit. I mean that literally. So, if the Uno is too big for the final show, what's the answer? Well, it's time to meet the hero of our story today, the mighty Arduino Nano. Okay, the very first thing you need to wrap your head around with the Nano is this. It is a whopping 75% smaller than an Uno. And that's not just a little bit smaller. That is a game-changing, world of possibilities opening kind of reduction. It unlocks a whole new universe of projects you can build. But you might be thinking, okay, smaller, but does that mean weaker? And the answer is a big nope, not at all. That's why people call it a mini Uno. And it's the perfect name, really, because it's built around the exact same powerful brain as the Uno, that ATmega 328P chip. You're basically getting all that same power just packed into this tiny little footprint. But wait, there's more. The Nano's advantages go way beyond just being small. Honestly, it has some really surprising strengths that make it not just a smaller choice, but in a lot of ways, a flat-out better choice for actually building your projects. I mean, come on, anyone who's ever built something with an Uno knows this sight intimately. The tangled mess, the rat's nest of jumper wires. It's a spaghetti wire nightmare, and it is so frustrating to build, and oh my gosh, even harder to try and figure out what went wrong. Okay, now let's just completely flip that on its head. Look at the Nano way. It plugs directly into a breadboard. That chaos? Gone. All your connections become short and neat and logical. The claim is that this can make prototyping up to 10 times faster, and frankly, when you look at the two side by side, yeah, I believe it. All right, so it's smaller, it's way neater to work with. That's already pretty great. But that is not the whole story. The Nano has this kind of secret weapon, this one hidden feature that, honestly, a lot of experienced makers completely miss. Let's just put them head to head, okay? If you look at digital pins, they both have 14, so it's a tie, no big deal. But the real surprise comes when you look at the analog pins. You know, the ones you need for reading all your sensors, things that measure a range of values, like temperature or light. The Uno gives you 6, which is fine, it's good for most things. But the Nano gives you 8. Yeah, you heard that right. The tiny little board gives you 2 extra analog inputs. So what does that mean? It means for any project that's loaded up with sensors, think about a complex robot or a little weather station, the smaller board is actually the more powerful choice. How wild is that? It's this awesome, completely counterintuitive advantage. Okay, so let's recap. We figured out that the Nano is small, it's powerful, and it's surprisingly more versatile than you'd think. So now, let's talk about the big picture. How does all this help you turn your great idea from a messy prototype into a slick, finished product? This is where the magic happens. Because it's so small, the Nano is the secret brain behind so many cool projects that you couldn't do with an Uno. We're talking wearable tech, right? Like light-up jackets or costumes. Or little tiny robots that need to be super compact and agile. And my favorite? Those hidden home automation projects. The little gadgets you can tuck away inside a wall or behind a speaker so no one even knows they're there. And honestly, I think this quote just sums it all up perfectly. If you want to build a prototype, use the Uno. But if you want to build a finished product, the Nano is really the only choice. Think of it this way. The Uno is your training ground. It's where you learn. But when you're ready to build something for real, the Nano is the clear winner, hands down. So there you have it. The Nano gives you all the power of the Uno, crams it into a tiny, super convenient form factor, and then, just for good measure, throws in a couple of extra sensor inputs. It's the board that bridges that super critical gap between a messy prototype and a sleek, finished product. So I guess the only question left for you is, now that you know this, what are you going to build?